Welcome back to round 6 content with your boy Sparky. I'm here with Victor. Say hi, Victor.
Hi, Victor.
This one we got Dan on Mardu Energy. Interesting. And Bobby on Affinity. Post bans, Victor. What are you thinking about the format?
It's definitely got some interesting lists that are out there. Obviously, there's going to be the people trying out Affinity. Bobby had some good success with it this tournament. Obviously, that's not indicative of the format overall, but there's the Affinity out there. Mardu Energy seems to be getting picked up now that the format seems to have sort of slowed down in a weird way. A lot of useful tools in the deck, so I'm enjoying junk creativity myself. A lot of fun stuff back out there that hasn't seen play a lot just due to the fact that the One Ring existed. So it's fun to see some of this stuff coming back.
No, I'm there with you. I had a good 6 rounder. I went 4-2 with Splinter Twin. Spoilers for the people who watched the previous video of round 5, me and Ian. But yeah, I think people can go out and kind of have a little bit more fun now in Modern and show up with either a pet deck or a deck they like, or maybe just some cards they want to tool around with. But
No better time to explore, especially after an unbanning starts to become the Wild West. There's a lot of options available. I mean, I'm even seeing people posting lists 5-0ing with Hammer Time. So Grixis Reanimator, that's a new one that's out there as well with the unbanning of Faithless Lootings.
yeah, I've seen Faithless Looting in like a almost like an Oculus Murktide shell that also has Archons and Persists because those all work together. So, but we see Bobby lead off on a very pretty Urza Saga into a Springleaf Drum. And it looks like Dan's trying to fetch up some kind of Surveil land or some kind of land that he wants to see here. Um, a little unfortunate. I don't have deck lists on these two right now. So I'm gonna assume Dan just didn't keep a 1-drop or just held up removal. Looks like a discharge in his hand, possibly also a. I see one of the cards that is coming to replace the One Ring Fable of the Mirror Breaker in his hand.
Yeah, that always seemed like a natural kind of callback to okay, what are we going to use to replace one of our actually one of the best ways almost ever printed in Magic to draw cards. I know some variations are now also playing Season Pyromancer as well for card selection. So
Yeah, I think. Well, you get the 2 red pips because you don't have to play Gigant anymore, and I think Pyromancer does. I think it like quote unquote does the thing better than Fable does, right? Fable makes a dude, then you do the draw, then you get the copy guy. Whereas I think Season Pyromancer does the things you want it to do, which is discard and draw, or if you're low on cards in general and have no cards, gets you 2 cards immediately. I kind of like that a little bit better, but
especially with a lot of the decks running Chthonian Nightmare, it seems like a free kind of just value of okay, I'm going to discard this creature because I know there's a good chance that I'm going to later on reanimate it with Nightmare, which seems like such a strong card right now.
yeah. Boom. Dan over here put in work with the bowman.
Yeah, certainly a slower start from Bobby with the Affinity list. I know that they're usually a little bit more explosive in nature than showing the removal already make life a lot easier.
Yeah, it looks like he was just trying to be more reactive. I think his hand had the 2 removal spells. So Bobby finding land number 3 with his Urza Saga, aka
Yeah,
Mox Opal.
didn't even think about that. That does feel like a bit of a. I mean, I don't know what we obviously don't know what's in Bobby's deck right now, so we're gonna have to kind of play.
So to me, his deck
Couch
looks like
coach.
the blue, like the blue Affinity deck. Like it's 8 cast with the Thought Monitors and Thought Casts and Kappa Cannoneers. I don't think he's running any other splashes. I obviously could be wrong, but it looks like he's like Kappa flooded right now because he needed something else to stay in play to get the Kappas going. And I don't think he wants to make the Orc army any bigger than it needs to be at the moment, right? By playing any of these Thoughtcaster Thought Monitors.
Like this just doesn't. I mean, listen, you're going to be in these situations sometimes because Urza Saga's kind of put you in the situation of either use it or lose it, which can feel bad.
Yeah,
Um, Certainly, I think this plays a little bit more into Dan's deck right now of this slower, grindier game. Though eventually, these Kappa Cannoneers that are stuck in his hand will
are gonna
probably
hit the
find.
hit the
Yeah, they're going
battlefield.
to find
Yeah,
a way. And it seemed. I mean, if to my knowledge, it's been a while since I've had the this pleasure of having to play against it. It's Ward 4.
yeah, it is
Yeah, that's a lot
big.
of Ward. That's a lot of Ward to get rid of.
I mean, I also like Bobby's call here. Tormod's Crypt in the main deck seems pretty strong.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. There's a lot of decks that are going to be abusing the graveyard. You might as well have it in there.
Oh, it was in a Johnny, not a Fabled Mirror Breaker. Okay. Oops. My bad, folks.
That's all right. It just means that Dan's probably choosing to go for more gas.
I don't think unless Bobby's got main deck Whip Flare.
Could present a problem, especially if there's an eventual Goblin bombardment. The Kappa
Sure.
Cannoneer might not have enough time to stay around and fight.
So we got 4 permanents in play, 5 permanents in play. Though they're all artifacts. Removal sphere from a removal here from Dan, I think is huge. Oh, he doesn't have it. Okay.
Oh,
Ooh, interesting.
okay, so that we found his mid-range draw value engine, part
Yeah.
of choice. Oh,
Uh-oh, Pesquettios. But he does get to bank that, which is kind of nice. He can just kind of pass the turn. I do believe he gets to cast that card for as long as it's exiled. Yeah.
which also actually, if he decides to use a Johnny, I mean, right now it's going to be a free block. I wouldn't. I don't know. He doesn't.
No,
I
it's
didn't
it's
think
not,
Bobby's.
it's not a free block because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would take the damage from the cat blocking it, which would be a 2/1, and then the artifact is red, so it would do 6 total damage to the construct. If
Oh
he was
yes,
able to
Amulet is red.
or
Oh
five
boy.
or five, yeah.
Actually, I'm surprised then that maybe Dan didn't see the line of just blowing up the Cat Warrior. Oh, he sees something. Oh, okay.
No, I think he's just getting energy right here.
And also, will give him. It should give him 2 energy
Yeah, to use the
to
amulet again.
activate.
I mean, he can get the construct off the battlefield, which is pretty big.
That is one large construct token. That's for sure.
I think you kind of just need to hit his face here, right? Well, that does it.
Yeah, the only problem is it's going to be a tough race, depending on what Bobby does. I mean, I would assume he's going to equip the Shadow Spear.
I mean, he does have. I think he's drawn a Metallic Rebuke in the last turn, and he just got a Mox Opal. I think he can chain some things here.
Oh yeah, Dan did miss those triggers. That's unfortunate, but it comes with it.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting because now this makes it so that there's going to be
Hey,
no
Bobby, let's
life
try
this
using the
turn.
big dice this time.
There you go.
Thank
Dan's
you,
looking
Dan.
out for you.
I think that was fine, but like, Bobby's not in a great spot because we can just serve with everything, right? Except the Ajani, and then if he blocks a cat, he dies.
Well, I don't think he's. So let's think. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was a 3. He's not going to block a cat.
Yeah, he would block the Orc army, right? So he'd take 6, go to 5.
I think Dan's hand is just a land as well.
Yeah, he drew a blank, and the unfortunate part is Bobby's kind of stacked. But like, if he plays them, it's bad for Bobby. I like this: serve in, chunk away. Yeah, bombardment would kill him.
But Marmot, to be fair, though, would have came down a lot sooner.
Yeah, so we have 7, 8, 12 damage on board at the moment. That's
13,
14.
14. And 15, really, because there's the +1 from Shadow Spear.
Yeah. I think Bobby sees it. I think he's just under the assumption that he cannot cast any of the draw spells he has in his hand right now. Because that would put him in the dead zone. Um Turns out that Tormod's Crypt did a lot of work here.
Yeah, could you? Yeah, if the Flage was in play that turn after,
Yeah.
that would have certainly been
Yeah.
devastating.
But that's just good deck building on Bobby's part. Like he understood the assignment, knew a lot of people were probably going to be playing graveyard decks. Land in the graveyard. That looks like a Thoughtseize?
Mm. Not really the card you want to see here, but it kind of comes with the turf.
Well, here's the interesting part: is Bobby can just counter it, like try and Metallic Rebuke it. Shows his shiny hand to draw twos, and it's over. I like Dan's argument. Draw cards. That's why you play Magic. But Bobby played smart, and he got rewarded for it. Uh,
No, those were some great decisions there,
what
especially
are?
with that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying just with the Urza Saga. I mean, it was really a slow hand, which probably didn't really benefit Bobby to play at that speed, but luckily he was able to use the bullets that he kept in his deck to allow himself the ability to have that slower game plan pay off in the long run.
Ooh, Bobby, you want Force of Negation against this creature deck?
It's a tough call. There are a lot of non-creature spells that can be pretty devastating, especially when you're playing artifacts. There's a lot going on there.
I I agree with you wholeheartedly, but the cards you're pitching are Kappa Cannoneer, Thought Monitor, and uh, Thoughtcast, and I think those are some of the best cards in your deck.
Yeah, yeah, it would be hard to be in a situation where that might be better than just playing the card.
Yeah. I think from Dan's side, I don't like I said we don't have deck lists. I don't know what his sideboard is, but something like Meltdown I think is pretty big. Um, I'm trying to think of a way to deal with Kappa, but
You'd have to have some
yeah.
specific sacrifice effects and then hope that you've killed everything else, which seems very difficult.
Stony Silence seems nuts against like even Darksteel Citadel. Like that can't tap for mana. Like ooh.
Ooh, that would be
Uh,
pretty brutal if he
so I
has that.
okay. I guess I could understand why Bobby would want to bring in the Force of Negations, and I think he brought in Dismembers as well. But we shall see how well this goes for Daniel. Um, I do want to be on Bobby's side here. He is playing like the unbanned cards here. He's doing some of the fun stuff. Dan's just kind of like, oh, same deck, different week, relatively speaking.
Yeah, I mean, the deck energy is. I know there's a lot of people out there who are just sick of energy in general, right? And they're just not happy that it's still in the format. But I will say that this variation is much less powerful in terms of just this explosiveness that you're just no longer able to deal with. It plays much more like a fair creature mid range deck
Mm-hmm.
that I think is more than well off to be in the format. I mean, there's way more egregious decks out there currently than energy. As far as the whole salt meter uh, is concerned. This doesn't seem like a super strong hand from Dan.
Yeah, I think he wants to ship one of the lands there and just Ocelot Pride into a Johnny. Did he keep a one later? Oh,
No,
you're
there's a
he's
second
gonna
land.
fetch. Okay, I was like, oof. Yeah, this is like the big addition to the deck is the Emery because you have a bunch of zeros, obviously for Kappa and for all the other stuff. But I think Emery's a fun addition to the deck. Would have liked to see Emery sit and block. Isn't it a 1/2?
I believe it's a decent size. I know it's not a 1/1, that's for sure. To answer your question, it is a 1/2.
Yeah, I kind of would have liked to see it block. I don't know. Whenever there's a pride across the table, I always think like a blocking creature is probably pretty good. But I probably wouldn't have blocked if he played Yajani. So yeah, maybe Bobby saw into the future there.
I do like the interaction of Emery plus Kappa because you can improvise from the graveyard. Correct? I don't think improvise cares about where.
Yes, yeah, you can definitely you can however you want to cast it. Like the affinities, like affinity reduces from the graveyard. You can improvise from the graveyard while you're casting the spell. Yeah. Dan should be wary about a spell here.
Yeah, but how many spells do you really worry about at this point at instant speed? I don't
Yeah.
think.
I mean, I think he should at least have rebuke on his mind if anything's going to happen here. Like, I mean, maybe you serving with the Ocelot still flips the Ajani, right?
Yeah, the only problem is you don't have it. I mean, what he could do is he could always just use his second Ajani in hand to activate if he wanted to. Then he could plus.
Well, he can. So what I like here is playing the second Ajani first. If he plays the Ajani first, if he plays it first, he can get the Emery to tap, and then he's got like a clean attack.
Yeah, that's probably one that's worth rebuking there, especially because of the fact that it's a red card alone is
Yeah,
makes it worth it. So I think I do agree with you after talking about it that if you think that they're on rebuke,
I
let
think
them
you do it in
rebuke
the
it
main
main
phase.
one.
Yeah, because he needs the Emery to make the blue. There's a force and a welding jar. Player land tapped. Yep.
Hand looks like Emery Kappa Force.
Flipping into Johnny's going to be rough now. If only. It's a good thing he's got force plus blue card in his hand.
Yeah, that would be quite the devastation to have that happen.
Yeah.
Can't even get the Stony Silence in anymore either. So that's not even an option. It's also just too late for it to matter.
Yeah, we're past the point of it mattering or it having kind of any effect on the game. But we shall see what happens.
All right, let's see what Dan's follow up main two entails.
I like the idea of a
Oh,
possibility. Smart.
yeah, you can't keep the Emery around with a graveyard of thought monitors that could just eventually block all day and be recast.
Yeah. Does he draw an artifact to be able to jam into this Johnny? That's not an artifact.
Yeah, no, he drew another Emery, so he does not have an
Yeah.
artifact.
Uh-oh. The big problem is that Thought Monitor can get in. The question you should be asking Bobby is, does he have a flyer?
When he was still talking, I was like, "Oh, please tell me you're not going to send that somewhere else."
Yeah, I mean it. So we have another land here, which can mean some flayed shenanigans, which I don't mind. And then it looks like,
He's another card short out of his graveyard. He only has three others. Understood. Yeah,
oh, that's true.
yeah. He would need one other plus his fetch. Huh.
Hmm. Or I guess he's gonna. I think he's gonna find a surveil land here. No.
Am I wrong? Is there another card that I can't see in that graveyard? White, red, red. Yeah, he's got all his colors.
I think it's under the flage, like on top of the fable.
We're gonna find out in just a moment. Never mind. Oh, this is interesting. He's gonna have the Ajani. He also has Bowmaster in hand.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
So
He doesn't have the red.
he does not have a red permanent, but I mean,
He
uptaking
does.
this Ajani seems pretty decent.
Yeah. And then once again,
A Guide of Souls would be filthy in this scenario.
yeah. Does he draw? Well, no. He has the Emery. Now we can cast stuff from the graveyard.
Yeah, he has anything
But
from but now he's got to be on the lookout for a bowman.
now the bowman gets interesting. I think we put one ping on the Emery at the moment.
I was going to say, I mean, you got to think about it. Bobby has no way currently to gain life. So
No.
this could just be a
Oh,
race of
Shadow
just.
Spear, yeah. Shoot the Emery here. Because then he can get another Cap Cannoneer.
Well, he could just activate the Emery in response anyway, so it's
No,
kind of.
that's fair, but then you force him into like that being his play as the Cap Cannoneer. Yeah. Because Cap Cannoneer costs more actual cardboard to tap if he's going to cast it.
Yeah, neither do I. So we're going to go ahead and look that up.
It basically lets him tutor for a card.
Really? Okay. Pretty good vault. Yeah. Wow. That's a lot of artifacts. For anyone at home who does not know what Fomori Vault does, it is a mythic from Big Score. Yeah, the Big Score.
Yep.
You tap 3 or pay 3, tap it, you discard a card, and you look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts you control, which is I'm not even going to try to count the numbers. You put one of those cards into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of the library in a random order.
There's 13 artifacts in play right now.
Yeah, that's insane. That's basically
also of note, this Cap Cannoneer should be one bigger because he missed the trigger from the bauble that he played.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Dan only gave him the nice guy tax once.
well, that was
well, it looks like both of those thought monitors are dead. He's got one blocker left. This game's over.
Well, yeah, I mean it's certainly going to be removed because even if he regenerates,
he can't regenerate because he tapped it as he could have tapped more of his lands.
Well, Welding Jar just requires you to sacrifice it. It has no tap cost.
Oh, I thought it was second.
But it doesn't matter. It's to have one doesn't the other because if you tap it to regenerate the thought monitors, they become tapped anyway.
Sure.
So it doesn't really matter. But there is a meltdown in Dan's hand, so I'm wondering if this is gonna. Oy. Is this? Oh no, Springleaf costs 1.
I think you just do it for 0. Oh no, he doesn't.
He's gonna cash in, but because right now I don't. You can't improvise, right? Because it's one. It's the math on these cards, man.
Yes, he can. He can improvise right now.
Yeah, but you need 6 altogether. So this is 1.
Oh no, for the Kappa Cannoneer, yes, you need 6. But he has a Metallic Rebuke in his hand, I believe. He just drew a Kappa Cannoneer and he's got a Metallic Rebuke in hand. Dan needed to 0 that turn, but I guess he would have just cast the stuff anyway. The problem is if you rebuke on this turn, Dan gets to get in with the Ocelot, and you don't get to make a construct, which is
so
huge.
Here's a question: do you go for the swing and hope for some reason that Bobby decides to activate and make it a blocker?
If he does, he possibly gets completely blown out of this game.
Though.
No, yeah. I think he went main phase. I think this is fair. And now he can still have a blocker. But again, no construct on that turn. And if you want to make a construct this turn, you're kind of boned as well. You're not gonna cap a Cannoneer this turn. Almost all of your mana has gotten used.
Yeah, but if anything like game 1, it did pay off in the long run to be able to play out a little bit longer. I mean, you're not exactly looking at a degenerate start from energy of
I think one
turn
of
one
the
guide.
yeah, no. I do agree that it wasn't. It definitely wasn't a heavy, strong start. It was pretty good. I think a Springleaf Drum is. I think you have to find your mana here. You don't get the free like Shadow Spear or whatever because you're already behind and you only have one land and it's coming into play tapped right now. Second meltdown would be devastating.
It looks like based on Dan's hand, he'll have to settle for either building the board and going Bowmaster Pride or uh,
Yeah, he's flaging. I think that's the right play here. You don't let him play from his graveyard, and if he wants to cast a Cannoneer, if that's the card in his hand, he can't attack with a construct.
okay. Yeah, I can dig it.
Oh, now he has a blocker and a Cannoneer.
Couldn't see
So
the draw, but
no, I do believe he's got a Bowman.
Bowman Discharge Flage Johnny is
I
what I'm
think
gonna.
so. Well, I don't. Yeah, he definitely has an Ajani. I don't know what the white card's another Ocelot Pride.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, the filler card is the Ajani. Bottlenecked on mana. I don't even know what the right play here is.
There's a lot of good going on. There's a lot of bad going on. I mean, right now, Dan is fortunate that
I
Bobby
like I
doesn't
like the
have.
Ajani play.
Oh, wrong side of that. Oh, okay. And then what? He's gonna go. Um, let's see. I
We're also
assume.
I think the plus is probably right because we would need an artifact off the top, right?
Let's see. No, you don't. There's a saga.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So you're gonna have an artifact no matter what. I mean, it's still a must. By plussing, you make it a must attack situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's fine. You're gonna devote some. You're gonna make him devote some resources. He actually has to double swing into it because you can't just swing the. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, you don't. You just need to swing the cannoneer. So the construct will come at
I think
at
that's
Dan
another
direct.
invention. I just don't know what the art is. Could be an ornithopter, I believe.
So
Yeah.
upsetting. They made an ornithopter as a masterpiece invention, but neither here nor there. Oh, he went face with everything? Am I missing something? Oh, actually had the pithing needle. That's crazy.
Wow. Okay. So what do we do? We got a pride. Hmm. While I don't think it was the greatest play, I think Meltdown on one may have put us in a better position here. But hindsight's 2020.
You mean on zero, correct? Just making
Yeah,
sure that
on our turn one, if we played the meltdown,
instead of the guide.
it would have gotten rid of the ornithopter. And I mean, like, these are other things that he gets to play with his Emery, but he's got to use his turn and his ability to do some of that.
Yeah,
Maybe
to
I'm
rebuild.
wrong. There's definitely a possibility I'm wrong. Or maybe we play the Ajani instead as a bait spell. I don't know. I just think we have unfortunately got away from this game and gotten relatively unlucky with the. I mean, if he's swinging at your face, the only card in his hand could be the Pithing Needle at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point because I'm thinking, how could you or want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of that.
And the Kappa comes in for 11. That's the game, ladies and gentlemen. Mox Opal, pretty good in the games it showed up in. Let's see if. Oh, no, they don't talk anything about sideboarding. Well, I mean, hey, those are the games. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out our merch. I've been Sparky with my boy Victor. Say goodbye, Victor.
Goodbye, Victor.